Hello everyone, you are welcome to Anchor Network where you get reliable and authentic news that are so crucial to you. I say big thank you to everyone who has been part of this channel and who has taken time to subscribe. And if you are yet to subscribe, I say please click the red subscribe button and also the bell icon. The bell icon will allow you to get notified anytime we publish any news.
Every effort made by the zoo has failed to frustrate our coming here today. Has failed. Destroyed it completely. Watch it again. And the same way that we have gone into this very parliament to preach Biafra, so shall we go to Washington to preach Biafra. Watch it again. That after this very place, the next place is the United Nations. There is nothing our enemies can do to us. Nothing. They called us today. We are out here in the open. Jubril cannot come here. At all. Miyat Yala cannot come here. But IPOB is here. I said that Biafra has come. I said that Biafra has come. Thank you. God bless you.
Full speech of Nnamdi Kanu as he addresses the European Parliament. Leader of the Indigenous Peoples of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Tuesday visited the European Parliament in Brussels, where he made a strong case for the restoration of Biafra Republic. Below is a full text of his address to the EU Parliament, which was made available to newsmen by IPOB Media and Publicity Secretary Emma Powerful. Nigeria in crisis. There is a crisis in Nigeria. The Nigerian state has never been at peace with itself, and recent events amplify this pending emergency, and has been the case since independence from Britain in 1960. Biafrans are the easy target of the lack of a credible Nigerian state. Nigeria governs without the consent of all within its borders. Nigeria claims to be ruled by law, but in effect there is a de facto lawlessness in Nigeria. Nigeria's epidemic of violence flowing from the north is well documented. In 2014, the Global Terrorism Index judged Fulani militants to be the fourth most deadly terror group in the world, behind Boko Haram, ISIS, and the Taliban. Lawlessness is always one step ahead of the government. In response, the government, when it is convenient for it to do so, attempts to give a veneer of legality to the lawlessness. Recent proposed land reforms across Nigeria to do just that. The Fulani herdsmen from the north are increasingly encroaching on the settled farmers of the southeast. This includes Biafra. As Amnesty International has reported, there were more than 2,000 deaths in 2018 linked to this land crisis. Instead of seeking to address the violence, the government has sought to condone it and legitimize the land grab. There is an underlying problem in the north which has to do with climate change and encroaching desertification due to overgrazing and deforestation. This has drawn Fulani herdsmen further south and led to violence against Biafran farmers seeking to defend their land and crops. The fertile farming lands of Biafra are very attractive to the Fulani. To address this land crisis, the government, the president of which is Fulani, sought to establish the Ruga scheme, an acronym for rural grazing area, or is it, as some suggest, a Fulani ward, whereby Fulani herders could officially move into areas and absorb land as part of a government coordinated program across Nigeria. Is this an attempt to develop settled and practices for the Fulani, or as is the experience of Biafrans? Is the drive behind Ruga an attempt to Fulanize or Islamize Biafra land and force out Biafrans? Biafrans who stand up to the Fulani are killed. Because of the uproar across Nigeria, the Ruga settlement program has been suspended, but the National Livestock Transformation Plan, NLTP, remains in place. This program advocates ranches. How different is it from Ruga? For Biafrans, the effect is the same. They are forced for their land and will be killed if they do not make way for the Fulani. And saying something, another subheading says Nigeria, the problem, not the solution. Nigeria has always been a fiction. The state we now know as Nigeria was created for British administrative and colonial convenience in 1914. An audacious move by the British, but not surprise in empire. Britain's Nigeria drew together disparate people into one entity. To oversimplify, to the north are the Muslims, so the ethnic groups dominate the north, the Hausa and Fulani. The Fulani are now in the ascendancy. 100 years ago, these were semi-nomadic, pastoral people. Many Fulani continue to live as herders. The south is mainly Christian, and in the southeast, there is also a vibrant Jewish tradition. The rural communities in the south-southeast tend to be settled farmers. The principal ethnic group in the south is the Yoruba. The southeast is the region that makes up Biafra land or Biafra. There is a coherence to Biafra. Its western border is the river Niger and it incorporates most of the Niger Delta. The eastern border is Cameroon. To the west, across the Niger, are the Yoruba. In the north are the Muslim people. Despite colonization and being forcibly absorbed into Nigeria, Biafrans are defined by common values and a shared sense of identity. Biafrans don't all speak the same language. Many Biafrans are Igbo speakers. Other Biafrans speak Urobo, Isoko, Ijo, Epie, Ogbia, Ogoni, Efik, Anang, Eket, Oron, Ibibio, Ogoja, Ejaham, Igala, Idoma, Ibani, Igbanke, among others. To put Biafra in its Nigeria geopolitical context, Biafran land is made up of the following provinces: Rivers Province, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Ebonyi, Imo, Anambra, Abia, Enugu, Bayelsa, and Delta. Fulani Esme have shown great interest in those provinces that form the central belts of Biafra, such as Enugu. With independence, the persecution of Biafran started. One colonial master was replaced by another, although and without endorsing British rule. Biafrans fared better under the British than they have under Nigerian dominance. First, the Biafrans who had been transplanted to the north by the British were massacred. Those that survived fled back to Biafra. The oppression and intimidation did not cease. In 1967, Biafra was left with no choice but to proclaim independence. Nigeria declared war. Biafra didn't stand a chance. The conflict turned the Cold War on its head. The Soviet Union and Britain actively supported Nigeria. Biafra Britain's shame was how many described the UK position. French compassion was gratefully received, but it could do little to protect the fledgling state. America's neutrality in effect backed Nigeria. China was silent. The UN was hopeless. Biafra was doomed. Starved into submission, after 3 years, the Biafrans surrendered. At least 2 million Biafrans perished. The atrocities, war crimes and crimes against humanity committed against Biafra during the Biafran War remain unaccounted for. Was it an attempt at genocide? Biafrans were considered as a existential threat to the state. The killings were indiscriminate. All Biafrans were targeted. And coming to say Biafra subjugated. After the war, Biafrans slowly rebuilt their world. But as far as Nigeria was concerned, there were not and never had been Biafrans. They were Nigerians from the southeast or Igbo-speaking Nigerians. The Biafra war was airbrushed out of the Nigerian consciousness. Biafrans could only whisper about their loss. Joining the global Biafran diaspora was one option for those who could get out. Others remained in Biafra land, their Biafran identity almost amongst themselves undiminished. Nigeria continues to prioritize crushing assertions of Biafra identity, even peacefully commemorating the war risk at rest. detention prohibited, e-treatment, or being shot. In recent years, the Nigerian state authorities have conducted 3 orchestrated campaigns against Biafras. The 3 Operation Python Dance campaigns have been battles against Biafrans. The first campaign was in 2016, and the second is in 2017, and the third is going. They are designed to undermine calls for Biafran self-determination. International law is clear in relation to self-determination. Where there is a credible claim for self-determination, the only way to resolve the issue is by holding a referendum which complies with international standards. IPOB is calling for a referendum. It is for that reason the Nigerian authorities have sought to brand IPOB as a terrorist organization. The EU, the UK, and the US have all rejected the labeling of IPOB as a terrorist group. They know that IPOB seeks only to uphold human rights. Impunity for Northerners. It is not only the direct attacks on Biafrans by the Nigerian state that perpetuate the intimidation and torment of Biafrans. Nigeria's policy of accommodating Northerners have a direct impact on Biafrans. No different to 1967, Northerners act with impunity in Biafra land. The current land crisis in Biafra caused by Fulani herders is just one more chapter of brutality facing the Biafran people, carried out with the tactic support of the Nigerian state. Despite the apparent suspension of Ruga, Northerners continue to threaten Southerners, including Biafrans. They will have no peace if Fulanis are not allowed to establish the Ruga scheme, the Fulani say. This land crisis throws into sharp relief Nigeria's crisis. The government of Nigeria is, to all intents and purposes, giving land to a Fulani herders from the north, which belongs to Biafran farmers. These are the same Biafrans who legitimately claim their right to self-determination. Biafran farmers live in fear. The farmers of the Ebonyi and Enugu are particularly affected. This torment must end. Biafra is entitled to resolve its own future and security. Why self-determination matters? IPOB has always called for creative solutions to recognize Biafrans' rights to self-determination. However, what is clear is that the existing model of the Nigerian constitution is fatally flawed. It continues to cause harm to all within the jurisdiction and is unsustainable. Nigeria may once have worked for the British as a colonial administration. It has never worked as an independent state. So this extent, it is a failed state. Nigeria is an artificial vehicle which buttresses those with power or aspirations for power. As there is no legitimacy to the state of Nigeria, there is no rule of law. Law is used as a tool of coercion by the authorities to crush opposition. Others, such as Fulani herders, simply ignore the law and act with impunity. Biafra, Africa's future. Biafran pleas for self-determination are ignored by the international community. Why are Biafran's voices not heard? Resolving Biafra's legitimate claim for self-determination will resolve Nigeria's crisis. Biafra is a forgotten global crisis. IPOB believes that by resolving Biafra's right to self-determination, Africa's peaceful future will be revealed. To the extent Biafra is Africa's future, the effects of Nigeria's permanent state of conflict resonate across the continent. This is signed by Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. So guys, that is just the speech of Nnamdi Kanu, even as he went to the European Parliament in Brussels. And those are the things that he has been able to highlighted and talked about. And for every true Nigeria, you will know that what he has said, is not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched from the truth. But people who are really economical with the truth, people who are really not, maybe they don't even know what they want, or maybe they are being fed wrongly, or maybe they are just determined, okay, this is just what we want to believe. We don't want to believe anybody, maybe because this is coming from somebody maybe they might not like, so they are just being economical with the truth. So it is what everybody knows. Because at the end of the day, you just see, like in my own opinion, I just see that people just go to power, go to, to be president or to be leader in Nigeria because of power, because of what they want, and everybody is taking turn. Everybody is just going there to take turn. That is what I have discovered. Because when they complain about a certain administration holding power at that particular time, and at the end of the day, by the time they themselves get into that power, they will even do worse than what they have been complaining about other administration. So everybody goes there to take turn. Nobody has the interest of Nigeria at heart. And some people just believe that, okay, once I'm there, oh, because my tribe is there, I just have to do everything to favor my tribe. You know, even favoring their tribe server is not even something that you can really see as being tangible, because most of the time they just sit as if, oh, I'm representing my tribe, and yet even the tribe, the people are not even benefiting anything. At the end of the day, it boils down that, you know, it is just for self fulfillment and greed. So if really people are really sincere, and it's cut across board, every tribe, every region, we have people that are selfish. And you have people that you think that you have appointed to speak on your behalf, even at the center. But what do? They go there and do their bidding, and they come back and be lying to their people. And they believe that their people don't see all of this. And that was what happened in Germany in the case of Ekuremadu. And people were like, oh, why would we do this? Why would we do this? And people, you have your representatives are there. What can you say? How can you boast of what they are doing that is even in your own interest? You can't even boast of that. And we thank God for people that are coming out, you know, even regardless of the intimidation. But what I found out is that they could only intimidate them in Nigeria, but you cannot intimidate them outside Nigeria. Everybody's watching. So guys, I would like to hear from you what you think about all that Nnamdi Kanu has said. I would like you guys to leave your comments in the comment section. We need to be objective. You know, when you are making your opinion, be respectful about that. If you abuse somebody, if you say something uncalled for, it shows the kind of person you are. We all need to grow up. Make your points. Tell us why you think this is like this or this is like that. You don't need to come and be, you know, aggravating or, you know, make, you know, walk people over or abuse people or make people feel lesser. If you know something, let us hear from you. Maybe from your own perspective. We're all here to even learn. So guys, I will appreciate that. Make your comments respectfully and let others learn from it. Thank you very much for always listening. Bye.